What is up, guys? Thanks very much for tuning in. Welcome to your 13th Python tutorial. Today, guys, we will be having a look at some functions you can do inside lists. So, of course, guys, these functions are specific to lists and are extremely useful and also extremely fun. So, just to start the tutorial, I just want to list over the functions we'll be using for lists. So, I'll just use a comment line here. So, the first function is actually called list. We'll get to that in a moment. Append, I know we've had a look at that, but we'll re-look at that. The next one's count. And we'll have a look at the index function today. And finally, just to finish on a fun note, we'll have a look at the reverse function. So I think that's enough for today. I think 5 functions is plenty for a single tutorial. So, first function, guys, I want to show you is the list function. How you use the list function is it's very, very similar to the string function, or the float function, or the integer function. So what it basically does is it takes a variable and converts it directly into a list. So for instance, if we have a variable called myVar, I'm just going to set it equal to hello world for now. So let's just go hello world. What basically happens is if you call list myVar, it goes ahead and whoopsie daisy, it goes ahead and turns it into a list. So as you can see, it goes character by character and converts it into a list. But something to note, guys, because it gave us output onto the screen, that means it's actually not directly changing the value of myVar. So if we call myVar again, as you can see, it only gives us hello world in the string form. So if we want to actually directly change it into a list, remember we have to go myVar and we have to use the assignment operator, which is the equals key, and set it equal to list myVar. Okay, so now myVar is equivalent to list myVar, which is, of course, is simply this list up here on screen right now. Now, following this, guys, we want to have a look at the append function. So basically, what the append function does is, I know you guys know, but just in case, for the guys who haven't watched the previous tutorial and or you might have just forgotten, basically, it adds another element into a list. So if we go myVar dot append, it basically whatever you put inside here gets added onto the list. So I'm just going to do the a character for now as a quick example. So if we go myVar.append, what happens is the list now has an a character on the end, and we can test that right now. As you can see, it has hello world followed by an a character that we just put on the screen right now. And guys, just to let you know, the append function actually directly changes the value of myVar. For each of the function, I'm going to tell you whether they actually directly change the value, or similar to list function, what it basically does is it doesn't directly change the value, it just shows you some output. Or at least, like, if you don't set a variable into it, it doesn't really do anything. But don't worry about that for now. I just want to go through that with each one just so you don't get stumped. Okay, so we're now having a look at the count function. So remember, we always have to go myVar, and we have dot count. And what we basically want to do here is the count function counts how many items in the list are equivalent to whatever you put inside the parentheses. So I'm going to try and put the L character inside here and see what happens. Exactly as I thought, we get 3. Now the reason for this is because there is 3 L characters on screen, well, at least not necessarily on screen, but inside the list. So we have L, L, and L, therefore equivalent to 3. So myVar, counting the L characters, is equivalent to 3, so that works out perfectly. Now guys, you can also do myVar.count, brackets, capital H. Remember, it is always case sensitive, so if we did lowercase h, it would not return 1, because the capital H is what is inside here. Now, I just want to show you guys, if you go myVar.count, and inside here, let's just do a number, let's do 10. As you can see, it returns 0, which is really great, because obviously the number 10 is definitely not inside this list. Following that, we want to have a look at the index function. And basically, how the index function works is it returns the index of the first instance of whatever you put inside the parameter. Now, something to note, guys, is inside the little brackets here, that's known as a parameter. Now, if that doesn't make too much sense to you now, don't really worry, because when we learn about functions and creating our own functions in the next couple of tutorials, you'll definitely understand what a parameter is. So, if we go myVar.index, and inside here, as our parameter, I'm gonna do e. Oopsie doodles, I accidentally just hit the enter key. Sorry about that. But basically, if we have myVar.index, basically inside here, I'm gonna put inside here the letter E, and that should hopefully give us 1, because the first instance of the letter E is 1. So once we do that, it gets us 1. And if we go here again, and we change this to L, what happens here is it will give us 2 because it shows the first instance of L. It won't give us 3. So if we call this now, as you can see, we get 2. And guys, just a quick note here is if you go myVar.index and inside here you set something that isn't inside the list, so let's just do 100. As you can see, we get a value error. Now we will be able to use this error in a couple of tutorials. So like maybe not a couple, maybe quite a few tutorials in the future when we learn how to handle these sort of errors. But don't worry about that now. All this is basically telling you is that it's not directly inside the list. So finally, guys, just as a bit of a fun note, we want to finish on the reverse function. How the reverse function works is it basically gets the list and changes the list variable. Well, not necessarily the list variable, but just changes the list and completely reverses it. So if you go myvar.reverse, wait for it, guys. No parameters, just to let you know. Basically, what happens now is if we call myvar, as you can see, it completely flipped itself, which is really, really cool. So, guys, what I leave you with today is Adolero Ole. So, guys, Adolero Ole is what I leave you with. Thanks very much for watching Python Tutorial 13. Really hope you enjoyed these functions. Hope they make good use to you when you are on your programming adventures. Thanks very much for watching this video, and I'll be sure to see each and every one of you guys next time in Python Tutorial 14 or whatever other video that may be. So, guys, I'll be sure to see each and every one of you next time.